Hello, yes, good morning everybody. Today is 19th of February 2019, and I'm going to first start by saying that today we expect two news, and they're on your screen. As you can see, this is the first one. Both of them should be announced at around 10:00 GMT. So expect volatility. If you're trading euro pairs that have euro maybe as the base currency, then you should expect a lot of volatility, especially around 10:00 GMT. So that information is at the bottom of your screen. We have MT4, and then at the very bottom there's the news section where they carry this the news for 19th February 2019. So ensure you are aware of this. If you are trading pairs that have euro as the base currency, then expect a lot of volatility. So we'll start our analysis from the main charts. We move from Euro USD, GBP USD, then USD JPY, and then we look at the other three. Euro USD is here, and straight away to what we said previously, we still expect a buy. We are not going to add much on this one. We have a line at 1.1240, which is a very key monthly support. So as long as the price does not clearly close below it by the end of this month, this is a sign that we could be headed up but should not go beyond this resistance. So far we've been making lower lows, and see we have we've been making lower highs. We have a high but slower than the previous one. There's also another high here which is lower than the previous one, and then we have the next high, which is this. It's lower than the previous one, and we expect the one to happen in the future, which should be here, to be lower than the previous. So far the overall trend here is downwards. As long as the price does not clearly ascend above this trend line, we expect price to proceed to the lower side. You may want to draw a line like this, then have a resistance there, a support, just a support. We have a support, there is another support. We also have a very good support there, then there was a break, price came back up, and now this is a resistance. We want the same place to be a resistance also in the future. So far this is the convergence point. If price can come back to this level here, then this is going to be the best place to look for a sell. As it is, we still expect price to move up, look for a buy position, expect a move higher, and then have your take profit here, look for a sell from that point, which should push price towards 1.1230, and the next one should be here. So whatever I've explained now, this is from the monthly point of view. From the weekly point of view, this is what we expect. So as we are saying, so far we've looked, this is from the weekly point of view. We have a level here, the resistance, and then there's a very good support there. So basically we expected price to close below this level by the end of last week. That didn't happen. Instead the price closed above. So we expect a move up to this resistance where price should head even further to the left side. So should price close above 1.1518 by the end of this week, then that should be a very good place to buy from up to this trend line. So as you've seen from the monthly, this should be the correct place to sell from. Either way, whether you're doing monthly or weekly, this is still the correct place to sell from. We want price to ascend clearly beyond 1.1518 so that we are able to pick a buy towards this trend line, which is also a very good place to sell from the weekly and also from the monthly. We move to the next chart, and that should be GBPUSD. On this chart, there was a pin bar last week. That's the most important thing that we are seeing. There was a pin bar, but what is making it not to be very good is the fact that that pin bar is actually happening above a key level. We want, if there's a pin bar like this, it has to be either closing or opening around here. That is the correct place to look for a buy from, because from the monthly point of view, 1.2725 is a key support and therefore a very good place to buy from. So we expect price to move up, but the correct place it should move up from is here, this support. So far it was used previously as a resistance, a support, and then you also have a support. Then in the future we want the same place to be a support so that we can pick a buy from it, head up, and that with that buy there's a level there which has to be broken before we proceed upwards. A move like this is likely. A retracement before we head upwards like this. So these are the places you need to trade from. Either you wait and buy from this point, or expect price to proceed up, then you should buy the next time it shows up above 1.3064. So we'll move. I'm not going to clarify this so much because the same level we have been mentioning, price is yet to reach there. So I'm not going to have a lot of explanations on this. The best thing is that you should have a pending buy limit, have your stop loss, and then the take profit should be the monthly resistance, which is here. So we'll move to the next chart. That should be a steady buy there. And as I mentioned at the beginning of this month, there is a pin bar, a bullish pin bar which actually closed at a key support. And we mentioned that as long as the price does not close below 108.68, we are still upwards. Basically, we expect price to remain in this range. It shouldn't go above 1.113.70. It shouldn't go below 108.68. So in case the price breaks above any of this, then we expect it to continue that direction. Like assuming price goes above 113.70, then a retracement, then we expect a move up or something like that. And these are the levels we expect to go up to on the upper side, a resistance. We also have one at the very top, and then we also have one on the lower end. You are looking at your STJPY. These are the 4 levels you need to check for. Actually, they're not 4. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. There are 5 levels. Look for 108, 101.12, 108.68, 113.70, 117.09, and then the last one should be 124.19. These are the 3 main levels you're supposed to trade from. Either this, or the last one. Should price break above any of the upper ones, then we expect it to proceed towards that direction. And in case it breaks below, then the opposite is true. We want it to move to the lower side. So that's according to the monthly. Let's check weekly. On the weekly chart, we still have our lines the same way we dreamed them yesterday, but there's a level I want to add here. This is a very clear level, clear resistance, and you can see there's a support, there's a resistance, and then we broke below it somehow, and last week's candle attempted to break above but failed. Instead it closed below. So if the current week's candle tries the same thing but does not close above it, then we're going to look for a sell up to 108.60, which is here. So basically, as long as the price remains below 110.87, we expect it to move to the lower side. But in case it breaks above and close above it, that is by the end of this week, then we expect price to proceed upwards towards 114.06. So we'll move to the next chart, and that should be it. I'm not going to add much on this one because it's much better on the weekly chart. We want the current week's candle to either close above or close below, so that we sell. If it closes above, we're going to buy. If it closes below, we are looking for a sell. We move to the next chart, and that should be Brent. Sorry, not Brent. We'll go to SP 500, and I'll explain it just the same way I did yesterday. From this point, this was 2009, price went up, then there's a slight retracement. It went up, there's a slight retracement. It went up, there's a slight retracement. It continued up, then there's a slight retracement. It proceeded even higher, then there was, for the first time, a bigger retracement, bigger than any other retracement we've seen in the past. So this could be a sign that this uptrend is ending, but to be confirmed that it's a reversal, price has to close below this level. We basically want price to retrace down, go below 2592.3, and if that is true, then we'll wait for price to again go below this level. It is only when the price can close below 2398.3 that will confirm that the trend has changed and now we are downwards. As it is at the moment, we are still upwards, but we want price to do something like this. It should retrace slightly, let it retrace down before it embarks on a move to the upper side, something like this. So for long-term traders, you may want to place a pending buy limit there, have your stop loss below there, and the first take profit should be here. Then the next one will use an indicator to determine when you are exiting. So you want to buy this index correctly, you should have a pending buy limit there, have your stop loss, and the take profit should be at the very top. So the other reason I'm recommending a buy on this is because from the indicator, from this indicator ADX, we have the main line. So I'll repeat how this one works. It has three lines, which we have the main one, and then we have the dotted one, and then we have the last one, which should be red. This is green, and then there's the next dotted one, which is red. So anytime you have the main line, the complete one, above 25, sorry, it means there's a trend, but it does not indicate which trend is active. Then anytime you have the green dotted one above the red dotted one, it means there's an uptrend. So the opposite is true when the red one is above. So in this case, assuming from this point there, you can see we have the green dotted one above the red one, and then the main one is also above 25. What this means, the main one is that we have a trend which is active, and then the dotted one means that trend which is active is actually an uptrend, so you're supposed to look for a buy. Where we are now, which is here, the situation is true. We have the complete one above 25, and then the dotted green one is above the red one, which means there's an active uptrend as we speak. So instead of buying it where the price is now, wait for a slight retracement. You pick a buy, especially from this point, and expect price to go up to the top, 2931.7. We'll move to the next chart, and I'm going to look at this chart from the daily point of view. Daily is much better also. So from the daily point of view, this is what we have. We had this point, and you can remember we took a buy from that point. So far it's going as we said. We took a buy from that point. We are still holding. We want price to proceed and should break above this resistance. This is a very good resistance, and in case price can close above it, then we are going to look for a buy upwards still. We want price to proceed up, retrace. We'll pick a buy from that point, expecting price to proceed even higher to 2936.4. So far we've been buying. We took a buy here, we took another buy from this point, we took another buy from this point, and we expect to pick another buy from this point, that is in the future, in case the price clearly close above 2815.3. So that should be it from the daily point of view. Move to the next chart. We move to gold. So this is what we said on gold, that there's a very key level here. The level where I'm having my lines at this one, 1348.5, is also a very good monthly level. So we said earlier last week that based on this pin bar, we expected the next pin bar, the next candle which ended up being a pin bar, to push price even higher to this resistance. So far it has gone as we said. We are still heading upwards, and we expect the current week's candle to push price even higher up to this resistance. So the main reason I'm focusing so much on a buy is because this is the key place I can see both on the monthly and on the weekly chart. This is the main resistance. Have that. We also have that. All these are very good resistance. So basically price should proceed up, bounce from this resistance, so that we can pick a sell to the lower side. And in case the price does not bounce, instead it breaks above, then we expect it to proceed even higher. That's according to the weekly. We look at the same chart from the daily point of view to see if there's anything. So another thing, the indicator which I'm having on this chart, ADX, is also showing us a buy. We have the main complete line above 25, and then we have the green dotted one above the red one, which means we have a trend, and that trend is upward. So anytime you see a buy signal anywhere on this chart, then expect it to be genuine. You should buy up to the very top somewhere there. So we check the same chart on the daily. We see if there's any clear direction. The daily chart, we have a resistance here. So the most important thing that I'm seeing other than this level, I had a level here. The next key level I'm seeing is this. It was broken. We want price to retrace slightly back to that level before we see a move even higher, something like that. So according to the daily chart, the best place to buy from is 1322.27. Place a pending buy limit there, have your stop loss, and the take profit should be at 1353.688. Place a pending buy limit, have your stop loss, and the take profit should be at the very top, 1353.88. So that's I want to stop at the daily because it makes more sense from the daily point of view that you're supposed to buy here. I don't want to move to the 4 hours. For us, the same information is still there. So even if you do 4 hours, it's still the same thing. We are still upwards. Therefore, look for a buy from here, 1322.25. We move to the next chart, Brent oil. And on Brent oil, I have a trend line. Based on this trend line, this is just a resistance. As you can see, this is just a resistance, another resistance. We also have that as a resistance. We also have that as a resistance. We also have that as a resistance. So somebody's asking me how comes I'm not marking the first one. The reason I'm not marking this first one is because it's the first time this place is being used as a resistance. If it is used for the second time, then I'll now mark it as a significant one. So I'm saying that somebody's asking how comes I'm having marks on this one, the second and the subsequent one, but I'm not having a mark on the first one. It's because when it was happening the first one, it had not been confirmed. When it happened the second time, it was a confirmation. Then the next time it was even better. The third time, the fourth time, and even the subsequent ones, it was the best one. So we want price to proceed from where the price is now up to this trend line. Let it move up to this resistance. We look for a sell from that point, expecting price to go up to this support, 43.98. So on the monthly chart, we are still upwards. We still expect price to push even higher. Let it continue, and in case it reaches this point, that it may be maybe next month or the coming months, this will be the correct place to sell from. So assuming you want to trade this correctly, if you are on this pen, you want to trade it correctly on this commodity, then just expect price to move up. We are still upwards, and anything we choose to trade, whether it's monthly, daily, or whichever time frame, just ensure that you are remaining with buys. Continue buying it up to this resistance. Look for a sell from this point, expecting price to move up to that support. From the daily point of view, we still have our lines the way we had them previously, but our expectation has not been done. The price is yet to move, retrace back to that level. If you can remember, we said that we want price to proceed up, then it should retrace back to this level, which it has not done. So according to the daily, we still want a retracement before we pick a buy up to this resistance. So far on this chart, you're supposed to remain flat because the indicator which I added is not giving us any clear direction. Sorry, there's a clear direction now. If you are on the daily chart, then you can see we are actively upward. So we just wait for a retracement before we pick a buy up to the upper side. That if you can see your screen now, there's something I've written that fill up deposit bonus.